Hello there, Trinity, back again. We're doing a continuation on our journey through Matthew, and we're on chapter 4. So thanks for tuning in here. And I'm going to go ahead and get started here so we can try and get some good stuff here. Matthew 4. If you turn there with me, we're going to talk about the temptation of Christ. And it's really interesting because the largest portion of Matthew 4 is actually just referring to the devil's temptation of Jesus. It's really interesting that the placement of this temptation effort by Satan is important because we need to observe where it lies. It comes directly before Jesus starts any earthly ministry. Up until this point, he has not done any recorded, I should say, ministry, and tradition says that this is before he does any substantial work for the king. Well, I hesitate to say that because I'm sure there's something that he did and good things that happened, but any recorded ministry done, this falls directly before it. So, y'all, Satan in this experience just proves that he's not dumb, y'all. He's wicked smart and really tricky. Satan knew. It says in the Bible that Satan, demons, they know who Christ is. So Satan knew what and who Christ was and is, and what he came to earth to do. And what did he come to do? He came to stage a coup, to take back the hearts of men from Satan and to usher in a kingdom, a heavenly kingdom, into a domain that was dark and it's kind of aimless without Jesus. You'll notice if you read in this passage with a little more depth that Satan was really pulling out all the stops to try to get Jesus to submit to him. He said, if you just trust me, I'll give you all these things. Satan was on a mission to convince Jesus that he was the ruler of this domain, the domain being the earthly domain, and that he could graciously grant him access to all of it because it was his, right? Well, all parties here, Jesus, Satan, in reading the story, are all fully aware that this is not actually Satan's domain. If you read back in Genesis, Satan didn't create it. He didn't have any input in it whatsoever. But rather, this is the territory and the purview of God, the holy, mighty creator, God, because God created it. He spent those 7 days, 6 days creating, and 1 day resting in triumph over his beautiful and perfect creation. So this is God's place. So Jesus, because he's a lot smarter than Satan, not to be fooled, resisted the temptation at distraction and focused solely on the truths of God. After Christ had proven his resilience against Satan's schemes, it was then, and only then, that his recorded ministry started. And you see directly after the temptation part of Matthew, did Jesus start calling his disciples. And then directly after that, his direct ministry with the masses, with people in Israel. It was after he had proven himself that God gave him opportunity to start his ministry. So I take this passage as serious encouragement for those of us when we feel at the end of our rope or under immense pressure to be discouraged. It's in my experience that some of the best things in my life tend to come after something really hard, really hard. And there's something so beautiful about the respite or the creation of something good that comes after that season of hard. If we focus on the truth of God and have that truth embedded on our hearts, when temptation comes, we can resist so much more temptation than we know. And then take comfort in the fact that something good will come. Whether in this life or in the one to come, there is good coming. Jesus is victorious. He has resisted the temptation for us. We can do it within him and with his help. And especially right now in this time and temptation to be discouraged. Guys, Trinity, take solace in Jesus. He is worthy to trust in. Trinity, as I leave you today, go in grace and peace. We love you. We're praying for you. Trust in Jesus because he has conquered the temptation. He has conquered the grave. We just have to rest in his peace.